Doing well. Hello, everybody. Welcome to SportsSkope. I'm alive now on all links here. Hey, Limbaugh. Looks like you on the Instagram straight flexing, my friend. Big show tonight. Okay, Lionel Messi, famous soccer star. His contracts ran out. I could not believe. I still can't believe it's been a day and a half. I still can't believe how much they paid this guy. I looked at some of the most valuable franchises in the world, sports franchises in the world. You guys will be stunned at number one. And this is a very new. We're talking May of this year. Forbes did a study on the most valuable franchises. Everybody, I'll talk about that. Patrick Beverley, yeah, that was very Bush League, pushing Chris Paul like that from behind. I'm calling for a suspension. That was really Bush League. Kudos to Chris Paul. The Suns, we'll talk about how much they've been overdue for a championship, everybody. Also, going to get into Bobby Bonilla Day. Bobby Bonilla Day. Could you ever sign a contract that did not go into effect payment-wise for 11 years? So I think that's pretty interesting. But first, money. Like the OJs, the song from the OJs, I still listen to it. Remember, it used to be an intro to a TV show, The Apprentice show, but also it was just a great song, the OJ. Money. A lot of hysteria going on about this NIL story, Pickles. I'll tell you guys, this thing has taken on a life of its own. The NCAA, they were shocked last week or so by the decision. So now, players can utilize their likeness. I did a lot of research on this. They can get agents now. This can go in effect in all 50 states. There's certain rules. Collegiate-wise, the NCAA is not going to do anything. But there's certain rules in certain states when they can officially start. That being said, I think that they will do this immediately. I think this will get overlooked. There was an old post there, Pickles, from Dabo Swinney that said that if the players ever get paid, I might as well leave college and go coach in the professional leagues. That was from 2019. A lot of reporters are putting this out there. I've listened to sports talk all day. You're having talks about bigger parties for players, potential harm that players can do, getting this kind of money. And there was a good article from ESPN I'm going to read here in a minute about the capabilities from using these marketing tools. And I just think that this newness and some of the comments that I'm reading on Twitter and Facebook, and I'm hearing people call in radio stations about this, and it's just it's like when you go swimming and you don't want to jump all the way in the pool because it's really cold. It's hot outside, but the pool's really cold. So when you, like me, I just say, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to take my shirt off and go ahead and jump in the pool, and I'll have this sharp rush of shock hit my system. And that is what has hit the college bureaucrats, coaches around the country, the ones that are unprepared for this, and some of the fan base and parents and everything of some of these student athletes. I think that's all it is. It's shock. It's fear. Some have utilized it as called it fear porn. And I just don't think none of that's going to come into effect. I think that there's going to be some issues where players are going to be feeling more entitled. And I think that there are going to be some issues, but I think we will adjust. I think your Nick Saban right now, folks, he is the voice of really all of college sports. He's the coach. Football makes all the money, okay? Football carries these schools. And he's the best football coach now. He's the greatest of all time. I think the way he handles this, and Alabama handled this situation, then I think that others will follow, okay? And I think I think that he is a guy that has seen this coming for about 2 years, and he's prepared for this. I still don't think, just like he's prepared for a football game, And for instance, I think this fear of giving these young kids money, there's going to be $500 to $1 million in some cases made, Pickles, from Instagram endorsements, from shoe companies, logo companies. Even Clay Travis is like, he's playing devil's advocate. He said, well, what if the guy's got a major contract with the school and he's a quarterback and he gets benched? Well, major players get benched in the NFL that's not playing well. They get benched in the NBA if they're not playing well. So I think all that is much to do about nothing. So, and going back to Dabo Swinney, if Dabo Swinney wanted to go coach the pros, I thought he should have coached the pros 2 years ago anyways. He's already won multiple national championships. Rumor is he would like to take over for Nick Saban. Well, Nick Saban's going to be on for another 7 years. If Dabo doesn't like this situation, there will be plenty of NFL jobs coming aboard. You'll have your skeptics of a guy like a Dabo Swinney saying that he's too folksy, he's more of a college guy and everything. I don't believe that. I think a guy like that, he knows personnel. He's a good family. He will carry. Check this out. He will carry his entire staff with him. His staff love him. He's had the same staff at Clemson. I want to say 99% of his staff, unlike Nick Saban, for about 10 years. His defensive coordinator has been with him for the longest, been rumored to take many of jobs. So I do not think that, and I do think that he should take a job. I think after this year, I think he'll get a little frustrated. And there was a odds of national championship hopes in college football. By the way, we are 10 weeks away from today, Pickles, of the National Football League starting. Dallas versus Tampa. Now, we're 9 weeks away from the college game, which I never watch. Those Thursday games are usually garbage anyways. But Dabo Swinney, now he opens up against Georgia this year. That's going to be a great game. That's a lot of NFL players. If he has a subpar season, I can see him. He's made a fortune already. I would say he's probably made 40, 50 million. I know he's got like a $70 or $80 million contract already with Clemson. If he goes to the NFL, they'll have to buy that contract out and settle that contract and give him more money than he's making now. I think if he had a quarterback, I can see him taking an NFL job next year because of this image and likeness. That's been talked about today, and I think he very well should. If he gets fired, he could take a job beneath him for a few years, and then maybe wait out Saban and get that Alabama job. If you can win at Clemson, Clemson and LSU were never anything in my lifetime until Nick Saban and Dabo Swinney. It's not like Ohio State where they've had three good coaches, or three coaches to win national two to win national championships in my lifetime, and others to get to the national or get to the playoffs, big bowl games. They never really fell off. Alabama's won multiple. I'll be 40 this month. Excuse me, God. I'll be 40, like the coach from Oklahoma State there. Very overrated. That was funny, though. But anyways, so I think that, this guy's a great coach. Now, I haven't heard anything. This was 2 years ago. He said that he would leave if they start playing the players. So I think this is a beautiful day in the history of the game. Pickles, I don't know if you got a chance to watch Tuesday's SportsSkope, everybody. I want to make this announcement for my Instagram followers and for my podcast people, because I'm having technical problems hearing interviews. I did an interview with a Major League Baseball prospect on Tuesday, Kavarius Tears. He is going to be a University of Tennessee commitment. That was Tuesday. Today, Kavarius could get advertisement. I mean, he could go do a speech for a car lot or something, an energy drink. Yeah, some clothing line, some something of that nature, a car, something like that. And I think the worry is way over exaggerated. Again, I was Joey Taylor from the Colin Cowherd Show. She reported today players can technically get money managers and agents now. They didn't say anything about a union or anything. They didn't want to go that far, but that would probably be next to pay the players. I don't have an opinion either way on paying the players directly from the college, but the national image and likeness thing is a long time overcoming. But going back to Kavarius, Pickles, this guy is very much bigger IQ than I had, or not IQ, vocabulary than I had at 18 years old. These guys, and I'll read you this ESPN article, they can make $500,000 a year in some cases. But also they have access to, if it's too much for a 20-year-old or an 18-year-old or whatever, they have more access now than ever. You got school nurses, you've got, you can get mental health counselors now online. You can go to rehab in secret if something ever got out of control. So these kids are more equipped and access at their fingertips to get out of a problem or to address a problem without having to even go to their parents if this money becomes too much of an issue. Only thing I think you're going to see, you'll see like college game day, the players, they'll be dressing nicer. They'll be driving nicer cars, and again, Carlos, my friend, I don't know if you're on here on one of my links, sent me some messages, possibly meeting up you and your wife the next few weeks. That'd be great if you're in the Nashville area. But when I started Pickles, Austin P, in August of 2002, I came back from New York. I was about 15. I was very light. I was in really good shape. I didn't have a car for a year. And I was throwing football with some intramurals guys at flag football game and going out for passes. The guy's like, man, you are fast, man. You might want to try out for the football team. And I thought, I don't have any time to play flag. There's a lot of pretty girls there that played with us too. I just don't have time for that right now. But if I could have got $10,000 from a likeness campaign from Austin P per semester, if I could have got something like that, Carlos, I would have worked out and got in shape and maybe tried out for safety, maybe a nickel, maybe slot receiver. I mean, I had the speed. I knew I probably couldn't have made the NFL when I was 21, 20. but I possibly could have played for Austin Peay. If I could have got $8,000 to $10,000 per semester in some kind of commercial campaign for locals there, I would have done that. I would have much rather have done that and stayed on campus and hung out more with my friends than go out and work the weekends like I did, 2 12-hour shifts doing security. So I did that for 4 years. It's very difficult. I think these upper middle class people don't understand that. People and I'm trying to put this a nice way because I'm pro-education. I've got a degree, guys. I've got a bachelor's. It's okay to go to school. But I think that the resistance against this, these academic types, these are the same type of people, not all, that want to push their ideology on students. The ones that don't want this. The professors that envy the athletes. They think they get too much preferential treatment. They think they're overpaid. These are the people that want to push that critical race theory garbage down people's throat. These are the kind of people who don't want to get you paid. I'm a capitalist. I think I'm all about a business, guys. If and like Jay Billis said, he says, the fear is, people will be bidding on players. And Jay Billis is a Duke graduate. He said, that's called business. The Supreme Court, Brett Kavanaugh says, in any other profession where you are told you can't make extra money outside of what you are being paid for in the scholarship is antitrust. Any other field, this is antitrust. So this should have been a long time coming. I just don't think the world is going to come to an end. I think this is going to be good. I think you're going to have some problems with boosters and all that. But I just think it'll work itself out. I don't think it's going to be the end of the world as we know it. I think that it's going to be new. It's going to be clunky. But it's just not going to be as bad as we think it is. Again, it's the jumping in the pool. It's that sharp fear, the goosebumps, Pickles, because people are afraid. Supreme Court. No, corporate America despises this Supreme Court. I will argue that they and it's political, and that's okay. But I know that they despise these people. The Supreme Court it's a lean is capitalist, and the other ones did not want to do that. People who want to control you are the people, these academic types. So that's what I disagree with. Next comment. These smaller universities will suffer. Well, Carlos, they'll still get theirs. They'll still get that. I think they'll still get locals and everything. The smaller universities always suffer, not unless they go get their butt kicked by a big university, a Tennessee or Alabama or somebody like that. Not unless that happens. So this is what ESPN. They got an article already out, guys, that says very interesting. This is by Dan Murphy. See the scenario, and I'm flagging through it because there were some interesting takes that they had. That potential earnings, non-revenue athlete, 0 to 1,000, market size would be the athlete, and then like I said that they would do, they would not be able to use the school's likeness, just like the school shouldn't be able to tell you how to use your likeness. That's why that was one, the copyright infringement or whatever was against the NCAA football game. But I was okay with that. That's what I thought. Okay, resources needed. What did they say? In the big schools, people can make up to 50 to 250,000, up to 100,000, and these are for Olympic athletes, 50 to 250. Football people can make up to $500,000. I think that's probably per semester. I don't even know if that's even the whole year per se. Revenue athlete. Yeah, I mean, it's just, and that's just things that companies can do with all the players, the ones that's not going to be the stars. That you think about your guys like your 5-star Alabama players, like this guy right here. There was a guy, pretty interesting comment. What did he say? Evan O'Neal. Evan Neal, offensive tackle for Alabama. He says, according to NCAA, starting July the 1st, student athletes and have granted permission to capitalize on name, image, and likeness. When that goes in effect, student athletes are going to be able to brand ourselves and other business and companies and any other local companies, Carlos, that may use my social media as a platform to promote commercials, etc., etc. The brand models. My DM is open for business if interested. DM me at midnight. And I thought, more power to you, Evan Neal. So that's going to be the easy money. Somebody mentioned Cameo Pickles. Cameo is one of those things where you do it over your phone. You tell somebody happy birthday and a message or something like that. Now, what I would like to see, if I'm a marketing guy, or if I'm advising one of these players, you want to do your best cameos like after a big Saturday night football game in Alabama. Say, for instance, you have a running back for Alabama, and this guy scores 3 touchdowns. Say a Derrick Henry or somebody, and people are all watching the game, and Junior's birthday's that day. Well, that's probably after that long game. If I am that player, I'm going to keep my phone on all night. I'm not even going out to the bars. I'm going to do Cameo all night long. People to ask me questions. Happy birthday to Junior there. And then you get paid extra amount of money just to do it over your phone through the Cameo app. I had 3 touchdowns today. Maybe get some kind of to talk to you, expand that Cameo, and make $10,000, $15,000, $30,000 in Saturday night after the football game. Something of that nature is going to be the norm, everybody. So I'm excited about it. I'm happy for the students, man. I just think it's been a long time coming, you know. And other news, today is Bobby Bonilla Day, you know, and Bobby Bonilla is, it took me a while to figure out. If any athlete wants branding, NL, contact me. There you go, Carlos. You can use my platform. Maybe you throw me some cash there for that, brother. But anyways, so let me ask you guys this. Would you sign a contract? Say, for instance, if a team owed you $5.9 million, you had a few billion in the bank, but they owed you $5.9 million, but that team said, we will pay you in 11 years. We want to defer that money for 11 years. But here's the big incentive. Instead of paying you 5.9, we will pay you 1.19 for the 25 years after that 11 years at an 8% interest rate. Now, he was 37 years old at this time. And I'm thinking to myself, if you told me, Pickles, if you told me now that I'll pay you $1.19 million in 11 years from now for the next 25 afterwards, I would say, yeah, sure. Instead of the 5.1. If I had enough money to make it off now, I would do that. Now, if I was 27, there's no way. But Bonilla, it's like taking the cash option for the Powerball, for a lottery. instead of taking the lump sum, you take the cash option. But I guess they thought maybe he'll die or so. I don't know what the Mets were thinking. They freed up some money then to make a play for other players. But Bonilla gets that check every single year, and the new owner celebrates it July the 1st every single year. This rich owner, now he could buy this thing out at any time. But I would set up a trust for my family. If I'm not married, but I'd set it up for one of my nieces or somebody. Now, maybe I would get married if I had that kind of money, but I would probably do that now. But it depends on how old I was when I would take that kind of deal. But I never knew the details of that. I thought it was that they owed him $20 million and they wanted to pay him just a little extra. So he got he's getting $25 million plus he's getting 29.8 million pickles over this time versus 5.9 million 22 years ago. I still think that's pretty good because Bobby Bonilla made quite a bit of money prior to that 5.9 million needed anyways. So that's just like a check every year, every single year. I think it's pretty interesting stuff. I would probably do it now, but I may have not done it at 27 or even 20. So Lionel Messi's contract ended today. And now he's going to become a college football player. No, I'm kidding. Lionel Messi, what the most famous, him and Ronaldo. And I talked to you guys the other day. Ronaldo, during a Coca-Cola sponsored event, he took the Coca-Cola and pushed it off to the side, and their stock went down. The stock went down for the company. They lost some points, which I was rejoicing in because I don't like what Coca-Cola stands for nowadays. So Lionel Messi for Barcelona's $674 million for only 4-year contract just ended. Last I checked, guys, that they're still negotiating a new contract for the 34-year-old soccer world superstar. Now, that obviously it blows away any other contract in sports history. I mean, you divide 4 times $600, $674 million. That's more than some small market organizations. And I'll tell you, here's the kicker to this, guys, that I looked up, and this is a Forbes magazine up-to-date article. That they are not, you guys will not guess which organization in the entire world, not the United States, is the most valuable. So I'm still trying to figure out, and I researched this yesterday. I researched this morning. I researched this in my spare time this afternoon. And this was in May. This article was published in May on Forbes, and the Dallas Cowboys are the most valuable franchise in the world right now. They're valued at $5.7 billion. And Jerry Jones paid $150 million for them back in 1989. You talk about a good investment. So it's $5.7 billion. The Knicks, Carlos, hold on, guys, are second. Hold on. Let's see. Let me start back over there. So the Knicks are second, and going down, Barcelona's third at 4.36. 5-year change in value. They went up 34%. Club members own the team. But so essentially, the Cowboys are worth more. The revenue is not the same So it's got to be something to do of why they're willing to play Messi that kind of money, which is way more than any other baseball team or any other national league, national football. Now, of course, we know we got less soccer players. I get that. But you would think baseball, because the Yankees are number two. The Yankees, excuse me. Yeah, the Yankees are second at 5.2. The Knicks are 3. Barcelona Soccer is 4. So why aren't the Knicks getting paid that kind of money? Part of it is probably television, but you would think that would be equated in the value. I think it's some kind of licensing. I think it's something to do with Barcelona jerseys, Barcelona shorts, apparel, because you got to think about it, guys. Soccer's just more of a popular sport. Soccer is all throughout South America. Then you got to go all throughout Europe. We're just now playing NFL games in London. Now, there's been talk in years from now that they're going to do NFL in Berlin. Now, we know about the China and the NBA. I'm surprised that the NBA players aren't making even more money than that. But soccer is still dwarfs on a world circuit than the others. Oh, Flugo. Okay. Speaking of the Mets. Yeah. And so there's some kind of international revenue system going on for that. But Messi, I want to say he's the first billionaire active athlete. Now, Jordan's worth over $1 billion. And I think LeBron's pretty close. In case you're wondering, Roger Federer, probably the best tennis player of my lifetime. Now, he is Federer is up there like $450 million. Now, A-Rod's made $457 in baseball. So there's a lot of money in professional sports. I guess that's, like I said, that's just the theme of today's show, guys. These big contracts and other news. Maria Taylor from ESPN is wanting to hold out and get money. Now, she's pretty good. I will say this. She calls basketball, football. She does a lot of traveling and does, I think she even does some Sports Center. Maria Taylor from ESPN. Been there since 2012. She wants around $8 million. And ESPN, remember they had to cut Kenny Mayne, his contract. They let Mike Golick go. They're hemorrhaging money because they didn't have live sport. They didn't have a lot of live sports last year. And if she doesn't have, and what Larry Merchant, not Merchant, I was reading in the New York Post that they don't even know if Maria Taylor's even got another offer on the table. She shouldn't let her ego get the best of her. If it's me, do a short-term contract. Give the sports world some time to generate the money back on. Give this machine some more time to get rolling, and then maybe do another contract. That was just in the news. A lot of discussion about money. Yeah. Federer makes a fortune. I mean, these international athletes, armbands, clothing lines, headbands, Tiger Woods with that golfing apparel. But soccer's it's just in more countries, and tennis. I don't even watch that much tennis no more. It's different, but how the United States is still really different from the world when it comes to that kind of popularity. Now, skipping around here, folks. Now, we've got some NBA finals. We got half of it set up. Phoenix. Man, that's kudos to Chris Paul. Told you guys, I think they've been playing the best basketball statistically. Like what they're doing. By the way, Patrick Beverly, 2 to 5 games, suspension next year, and a big fat fine. That was Bush League. When people said that they were, somebody told me, so Paul got pushed to the back earlier. I thought that was towards the end of the game, and that was a basketball play that Paul made it a layup, and Beverly pushed him because he got past him. No, they pushed him when they were walking past each other after the game. Now that's Bush League. He needs to be suspended for that. He needs to be made an example of that. So I'm happy for Paul. Now, as far as the Phoenix Suns are concerned, the last time they got here close to this was back in 2007 when they played the Spurs and Robert Horry in a critical game 4 where the Suns were leading. He hip checks Steve Nash out of bounds, and it gets the players amped up for the who was it? They lose 2 players here. And one of them, I'm going to say, was Amari Stoudemire. It was Amari Stoudemire stepped over the line. He got suspended because he was on the bench. You're not supposed to do that. And Raja Bell, both of them got suspended for 1 game. Well, that in a tight series, that was over with. I think they would have won the series, Phoenix, if that wouldn't have happened. So that ended up happening. The Spurs won that series. I want to say in 6. And then later they swept the freaking Cleveland Cavaliers. So when you go back to 93, they went 6 games with the Bulls. That was the best Barkley's ever played. Kevin Johnson. That was a solid team. They just ran into Michael. So, and prior to that, they haven't won. They haven't won before the ABA-NBA merger, August 5th, 1976. So kudos to them. They're due just like Chris Paul. Chris Paul's like that one guy that you follow your whole career, and everything lines up, and he finally gets a shot at it. Now, I'm not giving it to him yet. He still got 4 more games to win, and it looks like that Milwaukee – is Milwaukee still winning, guys? They were winning last time I checked, but they have been no. Okay, yeah, 77-63. It's still up by 14 without Giannis, but who knows? That'll probably go 7 games. Dan Marley. Yeah, that was the other name I was trying to think of. Pickles. Yeah, Dan Marley. But those teams are very, very close. And you're just happy that he finally got just about like Dirk Nowitzki. He chokes up in the 2006 series, comes back 5 years later against the same Dwayne Wade team, and they come back and win. He finally gets that championship and wins it. You get put into another category once you actually win that championship. Gary Payton, same thing. Push. Finally got one with the Miami Heat. Not so much luck for a Barkley or a Pat Ewing. But, I'm happy for the guy. As far as the others, it's unfortunate. I don't know if Milwaukee, even if Giannis comes back, how much of a is he going to be able to beat this Phoenix team? So this is probably the closest that he's ever going to get. He being Chris Paul, everybody. All right. Okay. Bobby Bonilla. Oh, yeah. So speaking of college football, now the rankings, the odds came out. This is early, folks. I'm going to talk as much as I can about, I don't know if I'm going to go through every team, every major conference, but I will talk the major conferences, the interesting teams this year, the top 25 this year, but the early odds that have came out. And of course, Alabama, this is from, I want to say this is from Pro Football. Well, This is from DraftKings Sportsbook. Alabama plus 225. Clemson second. I'm surprised Clemson is second. I actually thought that maybe Georgia would be second or Ohio State. But Clemson second, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Georgia. I actually think Georgia may be first or second, even though Kirby Smart, this team has been short over the years. Now, again, this class has the most 5 stars in it that's a junior this year, this junior class. And Georgia's supposed to have a much better quarterback from a talent perspective this year coming in. So I've called for them to win it twice. I'm not going to say they're going to win it. Oklahoma is 4 from this. They're plus 650. The 4 favorite. They could very well, with Shane Rattler, win it with him and Lincoln Riley at coach there. Now, Iowa State at 6. Now, that's a little high. LSU at 7. I think they're going to underachieve. Now, if you were plus 4,000 at Texas A&M, now you're talking Jimbo Fisher, a guy who's already won a national championship. His teams have played Alabama tight every single year. I want to say they beat Florida, a good Florida team this past year. Alabama seems to pull away from them at the end, of course, like they pull away from everybody. But I think they very well could be the second team in the West. They very well may be the second team in all of the SEC, which means they'll be a second team in all of college football. I just don't know about their quarterback situation. I was just looking at this today. I didn't get a chance to really study all this. I just know about the coaches. Now, Texas is 10th. They may be a bargain. Remember, they're bringing in that Alabama offense from the former Alabama offensive coordinator. They have been built up through the previous coach there at the University of Texas. They could be a major sleeper this year, even though they moved on, because the talent's already there. I wasn't in love with the hire that they made. I forgot the guy's name now. He used to be the offensive coordinator at Alabama. He was also the head coach at Washington and then USC. Steve Sarkisian, excuse me. Yeah, so Sark wasn't a big fan, but you know what? He was a big part of putting in that Mac Jones offense that had a record offense last year. That was the best offense in the history of college football last year. He had the highest rating, I think, in college football history was Mac Jones. So he don't quite have that Alabama level talent, but a lot of the talent was already there. So that Red River rivalry, guys, will be huge again this year. That will be Rattler, a potential Heisman Trophy winner, another guy that's probably going to make a lot of money from this NIL, that Oklahoma player. And then, of course, whatever what player he decides to put out there. The coach before him was recruiting well. They wouldn't playing up to par. They weren't consistent enough. They went toe-to-toe with that championship LSU team in 2019 and almost beat them. And again, I still stand by what I said the other day about Ed Orgeron. If his name comes up in this suit with this Title IX and this rape thing lawsuit, this class action deal, and he's still coaching at a mediocre level, if he has 3, 4, 5 losses again, plus the bad seasons prior to the miracle season in 2019, because he signed a big contract, they may try to fire him, LSU, 4 calls, realizing that this was a Gene Chizik type of hire where guy had one great year and he's been pretty mediocre to bad. They may use that to get out of that paying him. Just food for thought. I'm always looking ahead. Tennessee used that to get rid of the coach that they had. So it's a lot to talk about. It's very early on that. And speaking of finding and money, it looks like Washington will pay $10 million to the league. They were fined by the NFL for their team's culture problem. That money would be donated to charity. So, we're in the Me Too world, everybody, and that's in the NFL. And now, of course, his wife is supposedly taking over everything. That's Daniel Snyder's wife. We'll see how that Washington thing. It's taking a while. It looks like they're going to get it. They're getting it back together, though. But anyways, everybody, I will be back on Tuesday around 9 p.m. Central Time. Now, if you want to check me out on the Mac and Jack show, check out the Northeast Streaming Sports on YouTube, or MACS Sports on Facebook. I'll be on there doing my appearance on Sunday morning, like I do around 7:30 a.m. Central Time. So I'm still working on this Patreon thing. I've got to get my image and likeness up for sale. I've got to put some money going here for SportsSkope, and we will get this all squared away. Have a good night, everybody. I will be back on around that time. Again, we'll be talking a little basketball, and we'll see how this other stuff plays out here. I'm pretty sure. The NFL, again, we are 10 weeks away from the NFL. So have a good one, everybody. I will see you otherwise Tuesday at around 9 p.m. Central Time here on SportsSkope.